We're going to continue to expand and develop our multiplying tonight with a polynomial by a polynomial. So in your notes, we have a couple different methods here too. And the key that we have is basically distribution over and over again. You can do it vertically or horizontally, and I will show you both methods. So if you look at the first horizontal method, it's done out for you. And what we've done is we've taken that first term x and we have distributed to everything inside the second term. So we get x cubed plus 2x squared plus 4x. Then we do the same thing with the 3, and we get 3x squared, 6x, and 12. Then we find our like terms, we group them, and we combine them, and you get a final answer. If you look at the vertical method, just like regular numbers, you do your products vertically. So I've listed one underneath the other. In this case, though, I'm not going to start with the 3. I'm going to start with the x. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do x times the x squared, then x times 2x, then x times 4, and I get x cubed plus 2x squared plus 4x. And then I do the same thing with the 3 going here. And the only reason we do that really is convention, and so we can line up our powers. And then you can add them down, adding your like terms. So let's take a look at example 1. After I distribute my x term, I will get x cubed plus 2x squared plus 6x. And then I would like to distribute the 7, which is going to give me 7x squared plus 14x plus 42. I'm going to combine like terms. So I have a 2x squared and a 7x squared. I have a 14x and a 6x. So my final answer will be x cubed plus 9x squared plus 20x plus 42. Go ahead and try number 2 and see what you get. I got 3c cubed minus 3c squared minus 60c minus 72. I did this one semi-vertically. I multiplied it out horizontally, but I listed it vertically. And one of the reasons is I'm going to show you how to expand a binomial to the third power. And when you do that, it's very helpful to sometimes line them up vertically. What you have to do when you expand a binomial to the third power, that is the binomial times itself 3 times. So I would do my regular binomial multiplication that we learned last night, and I would get this big long term that I'm going to simplify. And then I just moved it to this location here. And I moved this x plus 3 to the front location, and then I just do my polynomial expansion there. Let's take a look at x plus 5 to the third. What does that mean? It means I'm going to multiply x plus 5 by x plus 5 by x plus 5. And why don't I just take these last two this time, that I don't have to move that x plus 5. Remembering what we did from our binomial multiplication, this should give me x squared plus 5x, which is 10x, plus 25. Now I have to multiply that out. So when I multiply the x by everything, I get x cubed plus 10x squared plus 25x. Now notice in my next step, I'm going to go right underneath that x squared and line them up. Plus 5x squared plus 50x plus 125. And that kind of makes combining my terms easier. That's the only advantage to that method. 15x squared, 75x, and 125. Final answer. Let's go on the back, and this is just going to show you the grid method that we talked about that can be used. So if I multiply these out, and actually you should have, I don't know if you do, but if you don't have an x squared there, that was a typo because we were supposed to have an x squared. So you could fill that in. And we're going to get 2x cubed, a negative 4x squared in this box, a 10x in this box, and then 2x squared times 8 is 16x squared. Negative 32x, and 80. And then we just find and combine, as they say. So these are my x squared terms, and these are my x terms, and I can go ahead and combine those, giving me a final answer of 2x cubed plus 12x squared minus 22x plus 80. Why don't you tackle those next 4 problems and come back and check your answers? We have some kind of complicated looking answers here. 1 should have been straightforward. 2 should have been relatively straightforward. 3 we had talked about on the previous page. And I would like to just say that there is a pattern for binomial expansion. Some of you notice that there may be a pattern going on there, and there is in fact a pattern, and you will study that in Algebra 2. And then number 4, you probably got a little angry with me because I hadn't done a trinomial by a trinomial, but it's the same pattern, guys. You just do it over and over and over again. Now you may look at my work. I do, especially in a problem like number 4, like to line them up because it saves me time in the end. Now in number 2, we kind of I skipped some places where I didn't have a term because then I didn't have to worry about combining those. It's really up to you and how you can keep track of all of your work. Method and system is important when you get into complicated algebra. So it's important that you create a system where you can keep track of everything. Lots of little ducklings, and they all need to be accounted for. So hopefully you did well with this, and we'll practice more. Have a great night.